Novak Djokovic has won his first round match very easily in 4 sets, and he can now sit back and watch his good friend Virat Kohli in action, who will be a part of the playing 11. You're watching Cricbuzz Live. It's India versus Afghanistan. A chance for India to win their 15th consecutive T20 series at home. And a chance for you guys and girls to watch two men in black in action. Joy has had a...
Since you made a movie reference, I'm also going to make a movie reference.
Please do so.
I also know why you brought up Novak Djokovic.
Why?
What's his pet name? The Joker. And you wore a purple suit like the Joker from Batman.
Rohan Gavaskar is always ready with all kinds of
I know why you went with Novak Djokovic.
See, we plan it all really well on Cricbuzz. But Joy's had a very interesting twist with aeroplanes, and he's been pulled out of this world of Sherlock Holmes. So what's happening in your life?
I've just given up. I just hope that this show goes properly today because nothing else has gone right. From having an Uber driver who's come into Delhi 2 days back and couldn't find his way through the dense fog and basically putting on maps to show him the way, to coming out here and having to sit on the tarmac because there were kites in Delhi, in Mumbai airport, and for 20 minutes we landed and sat on the tarmac. So I'm only 5.5 hours late, so forgive me if I'm a bit late.
He was prepared to do a 1+1 show today.
Yeah. But on this thing that Joy's extravagant fees come to me.
Extravagant fees.
Not like you need any of it, sir. You are already...
No, that's for us to go for the dinner that you keep talking about.
So we're going to have a lot of fun with Joy and Rohan here. Rohan, his life is suddenly starting to become more interesting. Does it happen at this age where suddenly there's more drama, more action?
I don't know what he means by this age.
When you hit 35, suddenly there's more juice to life. Is that what happens?
I'm not going to go there. There are a lot of impressionable young minds out there who I don't want to influence in the wrong way.
A lot of impressionable minds want to watch Virat Kohli in action. Now he's back after a long time. I suppose it's been, 13 months since his return to the T20 international side. But Rohan, we all know this man is beyond formats, beyond conditions. We shouldn't really be judging or looking at Virat Kohli from the prism of numbers, should we?
No, we shouldn't. And all those young fans and old fans who want to watch him bat will have to wait a little longer because India are bowling. So they'll have to wait a little longer.
Yep.
But yeah, you can't judge him, Look, it's a funny thing because you said his numbers tell a story.
Yep.
But he is sometimes even better than those numbers. As awesome as those numbers are. So look, when someone like Virat puts his hands up and says, I'm available and I want to play, you say yes.
Yes, well, I've just been told Yashasvi Jaiswal is back in the 11 for Gill. He didn't pull up well in that first game. We'll talk about that as well. But the return of Kohli, he's always the main draw. He's box office, and the fact that he's playing in what is India's last T20 series before the World Cup tells you that number 3 spot will continue.
He's on an absolute movie role.
I know.
You got that? Return of Kohli, Return of the King from Lord of the King Kohli.
Look, I've worked in a movie channel, so I've always been a filmy bacha. But, the return of Kohli really is blockbuster stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, look, the way I'm looking at it is 13 years. It's 13 years since he won that 2011 World Cup.
Yeah.
And he was a callow young kid out there. There were giants around him.
Yeah.
After that, he's come so close so many times. They've won the Champions Trophy, but he's never really won the big one.
Yeah.
And that's something that both he and Rohit desperately want. I mean, Rohit, they didn't even have to 2011 in that sense.
Yep.
So all I'm saying is that they really, really want to do this well. And I think that's the reason, that's a hunger that's bringing them back.
Yeah.
He's not playing here to extend his career. He's just trying here to tick off that last box that is not there in what is otherwise a glittering career.
Yeah.
In terms of test wins, in terms of everything, just top it off with one ICC trophy, which is a top level ICC, a World Cup win, and he's done.
But I think it'll be a full circle, right? Like when they won in 2000, he had Sachin on his shoulders.
Yeah. 11.
Exactly.
Someone will have Virat on his shoulders.
Someone will have Virat or Rohit on Rohit on their shoulders.
Yep. Well, India have won the toss and they've chosen to bowl first, and why not? Because you've got the chase master in the ranks back in the mix as well. Virat Kohli is clearly, once again, regardless of what the yardstick is, what the benchmark is, Virat Kohli in a league of his own. Look at those numbers, Joy. An average of 90 in successful T20 international chases, 16 half centuries. Is there anything this man can't do with the bat?
Also, very interesting, if you look at those numbers, there's one thing I'll tell you. The most interesting part of it is that normally that number of 90 is there because in T20 cricket you can't get to a number of 90 because normally. So what happens is you've got a lot of not outs.
Yeah, that's
Lot of not outs you get when you're batting at 5 or 6. So Dhoni, for example, is regarded as chase master. Lot of not outs. Okay, at 5 or 6, Rinku Singh today does a lot of not outs. But to bat at 3, where Virat bats, and to get that many not outs, you get an average of 90. That tells you something. From number 3, the number of games he's finished, that is the true statistic. That it's not showing up in these numbers, but that is the true statistic. To do it at that level.
and the gap between him and
That's why you see the other averages are low.
Much
Why the
lower.
other average is low? All of them are getting out.
yeah, also the number of runs. Look at that, a gap of almost 400 runs between him and Babar Azam. But that innings against Pakistan in Melbourne was perhaps the happiest twist once he is done with the game. When he looks back at it, would he look at that as perhaps the most important twist in his life and career? That innings against Pakistan at Melbourne?
No, I don't think so, because look, by the time he played that innings, he was well established as
exactly.
as an all-time great. If that innings had come at the start of his career, and then suddenly, like take Lakshman for example. Lakshman will look back at his Sydney 100 and say that was the turning point.
Yeah.
Virat will look, I think, at his Adelaide 100 in Australia in one of his early tours and say, okay, listen, that was my turning point where everything sort of, fell into place after that.
Yeah.
Sanjay Manjrekar gets trolled a lot for that one tweet where he said, let's give Virat one more test just to make sure that he's good enough at that level. He gets trolled a lot for that. He's not good enough. But the fact is, what he's saying is give him that one more opportunity before completely writing him off, because there were a lot of people writing him off at that point.
Yeah.
So people have mistaken and sort of misunderstood that tweet a little bit. But the point is, this innings, when he played that innings, as spectacular as it was, we had come to expect that from Virat.
Yeah.
I mean, I for one wasn't surprised that he played such a fabulous innings, because you've come to expect that's the benchmark, the bar that he set so high that, if anyone else had played it, it would be like, ooh. But because he's played it, that ooh is a little shorter, because you come to expect that from him.
Now Virat is at stage where this will not make any sense. The best of innings doesn't make sense until the trophy is there at the end. So at the end of the day, no matter how satisfying a knock that was, finally India didn't go on to win the cup.
Yeah.
If India had gone on to win the cup, you would have looked at it differently. And I think everything now, Virat and Rohit, we must understand they're beyond stats.
Yep.
They are beyond their name in the Legion of Indian Cricket.
Yep.
They're only chasing a World Cup. That's what these guys are doing. They're two guys who have played fantastic cricket all their careers. They don't care for numbers. They don't care for captaincy. They don't care for anything. They want a World Cup. They want that in their cabinet, trophy cabinet.
Especially Rohit, because Virat's at least got one.
Yeah.
So Rohit's thinking, listen, I've got to get one, with all that he's achieved.
Well, Rohit
in
has the
game.
2007 T20.
Technically, 2007
but,
has got one.
I mean, to do it as one of the leaders in the group, possibly as captain as well. We spoke about that, but from a fan's point of view, maybe this question is more on the minds of a lot of fans, Virat Kohli fans and all of us included as well. Would that 100-100 story be somewhere in the back of his mind? I'm not saying from a selfish point of view, but champions set big benchmarks for themselves. They set big goals for themselves. Is that 100-100 number, is that going to play on his mind? Is that going to egg him on to do more, to be fitter, play longer?
100-100. Look, if there's anyone who can do it, it's him. But at the moment, it seems a little far away, simply because if he's going to, after this World Cup, if he's going to give up T20, he's giving up one format of the game, then it's going to be that much tougher. Where is he now? 70 something? 70?
71, I think.
No, he's up.
No, gone. After 71, he's gone up. 76, 78.
75, 76. Look, my point
Even
is,
if he's 80, he needs to get another 20.
also, where has he got most of them? He's got most of them in
One-days.
one-day international cricket. You don't have that many one-day international cricket matches. You don't score that many hundreds in T20 international cricket. The number of centuries you get in one-day cricket, there's no comparison.
79 hundreds. 80, in fact, one in T20s as well. So 80 needs 20 more.
Yeah, so 80 hundreds if you're talking about, I still feel it's very long, because unless he gets about 5-6 in the next year in this test matches, it's very difficult, because you're not playing that many ODIs.
Look, also, like I said, if there's one player who can do it, it's him.
Yeah.
Because he can go on that one crazy run when he gets like 6, 7, 800s, like he did in this last year. Yeah. In this last year, he's got, I think, 7, 800. So he can go on that.
Exactly.
He can go on that crazy run and get it. But to even break it down further, he's got 80 international hundreds. When did he make his debut? 2010.
Yep.
So in 14 years, he's got 80. So to get 20, like 1/4 of that, he needs to play another 4-5 years. Unless he goes on some crazy run.
or he decides that he's going to play the next
ODI
World Cup as well.
Yeah.
And he's fit enough.
He's fit
Of
enough.
course.
He's fitter than
Fit
most
enough,
of them.
and in the ODI version, I mean, again, absolute guarantee to be in the 11.
Maybe we'll need another 2-hour-long show to talk about Kohli and what the possibilities are, because in his book, I'm sure impossible is nothing. For now, let's take a look at the playing 11s. Up first, let's take India, shall we? A couple of changes. Jaiswal's in, so is Virat Kohli, and Tilak Verma is gone, and so has Shubman Gill. In the bowling, I don't see any changes. Once again, they've gone with 3 spinners, Joy.
Look, I think the first thing we're going to think about is if we say that this is not so much about winning this series as about going there. I was just talking to Rohan about the pitches, likely pitches in the World Cup. And you're going to get them pitches in the West Indies, and you're going to get some pitches in the East Coast of America. Yeah. Those are the places we're playing. We're playing in the East Coast of America, New Jersey, New York, and we're going to be playing in the West Indies. And none of both of them will be slow pitches. Yeah. So what India is actually looking for is actually spin all-rounder, okay? So, and I feel Ravindra Jadeja, no matter what you say, has probably got his name already down there. So you're looking at between Akshar and Washington Sundar, probably one of them will make that flight.
Yes, big phase this one for Bishnoi as well as Kuldeep Yadav. Yashasvi Jaiswal has come back in the 11, didn't play that first game. No surprise there at all, Rohan?
Not for me. As I've said before, that I think Yashasvi, for me, is a guaranteed starter in the 11 in the World Cup. Like absolute nailed-on starter. Yep. Someone who will open. So no surprise for me that he's there. Look, if a lot of viewers are wondering, okay, if he's a guaranteed starter, why are you making him play when, because he's still young. He's still inexperienced. Yeah. What you want is your younger, inexperienced players to get that experience of playing games. Now, a lot of your experienced players like Kuldeep have been rested. Your bowlers have been rested. Yeah. Because they've got experience. Someone like Bumrah, lots of experience. Yeah. This guy is still young. He's still learning his trade. Yeah. It's been a year and a half, so he's still learning how to go put him in different situations, different this thing. How does he cope? So you're giving him that experience, and that's why there's no surprise that he's playing this.
And his stellar rise doesn't come as a surprise, really, because has he done well enough for you to say, all right, this guy is primed for a much, much longer run up top with Rohit Sharma, whoever else replaces Rohit when the time comes. This guy looks he's like he's set for that.
I think he is, and I think primarily there was only one other player who used to really play like him, and that's his Mumbai teammate Prithvi Shaw. And once Prithvi dropped off there, why? And I'll tell you why these players are more special, because they are the out-and-out attackers. They take no prisoners up front. Yeah. So if they last 6 overs, they will have scored 35-40 runs just themselves, leave alone the guy at the other end. Yeah. So you're guaranteed a start when these guys, they're not going to sit and wait and see whether the ball is being timed or not. They'll either get out or give you a start, and they play the T20 template the way it's meant to be played. Therefore, once Prithvi went out and Yashasvi got its place, he's not let it go. And he's done the same thing, if you notice, with Rajasthan. He's found his way in the Rajasthan Royals setup. And what he's done, giving them starts like that, is he's allowed the pressure to come off the other guys.
Yes, he pushed Padikkal down the order, I think.
He pushed Padikkal down the order. He allowed, when Butler did very well, he allowed Butler to settle down, relax before he started going. Yeah. Because he was doing and attacking up front all the time. Yeah. So India needs that, and India recognizes after that series in 2022, after the World Cup in 2022, that we need desperate attacking batsmen from one end like that. Yeah. The people playing the template. And I still feel, though he's an immensely talented cricketer, Shubman doesn't play that template. Yeah. Shubman plays a different template in a different way. The out-and-out attacker which Prithvi gave them, which Yashasvi gives them, is something India needs at one end.
28% is a boundary count there. Perhaps symbolic of the fearlessness of this generation that has been found largely thanks to the IPL. So this is a fearless generation.
So basically, every third ball is hit for 4 in the power play. And that's also because, look, in the power play so often that you'll see your dot ball percentage is high because of the field restrictions. There are lots of fielders in the circle. So if you find the gap, it's 4. But because the angles are covered, because there are lots of angles which are covered, you'll find a lot of shots going to the fielders. That is why Virendra Sehwag in Test cricket was so successful. Because when he'd open, you'd have 3 slips, 2 gully, and just gaps everywhere. You just time it and boom, 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 boom. Before you know it, you're batting on 40, 50. Yeah. I used to always tell my Bengal teammates, any middle order batter worth his or her salt will want to bat when the score is 30 for 3 or 30 for 4 because you've got 2 slips, 2 gullies, a silly point, a short leg, a backward. And before you know it, if you're timing it well, you're batting on 40-50.
Yeah.
So that's why Yashasvi's, every third ball being hit for 4 in the power play, excellent numbers.
Yeah, well, and we really hope that Jaiswal continues to deliver on the promise that he's shown so far. Still very early days in his career. What about Afghanistan? What changes have they made to their 11? Remember, it's a must-win for them. Noor Ahmed has come in for Rahmat Shah. So, yeah, a slightly different-looking bowling lineup, Joy, for you there. So, Noor Ahmed, Fazal Farooqi is there, Mujibur Rahman, Naveen ul Haq and Gulbadin. Karim Janat can bowl as well.
They've stayed with the all-rounder template. So
yeah.
Rahmat Shah, batsman, has gone out to get you a bowler, which I think, look, I definitely felt that they needed another bowler coming in, especially if you don't have Rashid there, and a spinner, and maybe the condition. Mohali may not have been there, but Indore definitely somebody who's a spinner would be useful when the ball is, when the temperatures are slightly warmer and they can grip the ball, definitely. And I think they have a bit of an advantage because, they are bowling second. Apparently Dew might come in, so that may be a bit of an issue.
Yeah, Rohan, short boundaries on the side, 62, 63, I believe. How much would that impact team selection or combination selection?
Oh, for sure, because 62, 63 boundary in this day and age with the power hitting ability, with the bats that these batters have is basically nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, your mistime, your edges are going to go for sixes.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if someone tries to flick the ball, gets an edge, it goes over 0.46.
Yeah.
Someone really quick bowls it. It's possible. So this will definitely have a bearing on team selection. You'll want to pick your players accordingly, maybe power hitters more, all-rounders more, because what happens is in Afghanistan's case, you've taken a batter out thinking, okay, listen, our power hitters can maybe score runs quickly.
Yep.
What we may need in this is the option of another bowler in case a bowler or two are getting, going for runs, going for tap, and confidence goes low.
Yeah.
Get someone in, have more bowling options.
Yeah, well, they do have a fair number of all-rounders in the ranks. Azmatullah Omarzai is one of them. With due respect, would it be safe to say that he is what Hardik is for India?
What Hardik is for India, obviously, he's a young talent. He's really growing. He does that job for them. They'd want him to do even more. And of course, I mean, his fitness, he's comparatively been healthier than Hardik in that sense. And those numbers are certainly very, very decent.
Yeah.
And look, I love their attitude. And see, the other thing is, again, if you look back at that team 11, what have they done? They've replaced a slow batting, not a slow batter, but a proper batsman who's normally sees the ball and takes his time and sets himself out like Rahmat Shah for a bowler. They haven't, all their big hitters they've kept in the lineup. They've kept Naeem, they've kept Karim Jannat, they've kept all the players who really whack the ball, they've left them in there.
Yep.
So they're also bracing themselves for a 200 game.
Yep.
I mean, they're probably telling themselves that if we don't get 200, there's no point. I mean, anything below 200 today is not a total worth thinking.
Also a message for the top 6 saying if the runs have to be scored, it's got to be you guys. Don't look at another batting cushion. So I suppose they've sort of bolstered their bowling by saying, we'll take Rahmat Shah off.
Giving the batters a lot more responsibility.
The onus is on them.
Yeah, listen, don't think you've got a long batting line up.
Yeah.
But look, as Joy said, on this ground with those boundaries, with the pitch from what we hear, how the pitch is going to behave, there's no question of as a batter you've got to go out there and go hell for leather from ball one.
Yeah.
200, 190, 200 is where you need to be competitive.
Yep.
I'm not saying it's a match-winning score. I'm saying to be competitive. So that tells you the kind of pressure the team batting first might feel. Because sometimes what happens is when you think I've got to get to 200 and you go really hard, you end up being 140 all out. Or no, all out, but 140 for 8.
Yeah.
So you've got to find that balance. It's a very tricky one, but you've got to find that balance.
Omarzai does have his role cut out because he seems to have been the find of the World Cup for Afghanistan. He's played in the PSL, I think in the BPL as well, and earned his maiden IPL contract with GT. So a story that the whole of Afghanistan will be watching
absolutely. A great story. Just reading about him and Omarzai, how he sort of got into cricket. And it was the 2014 Asia Cup in where Afghanistan, I think they beat Bangladesh, and it was a huge win. And it was a time when there was a lot of strife in the country, and that was the win. Seeing that his father turned around and said that do you really want to play? And that's the time that he turned around and said, yes, I want to be serious about this game. So sometimes, when today, I was just thinking about it, that we were talking about this, that when a Virat Kohli, some 10-year-old has seen a Virat Kohli hitting that century in Australia and saying that I want to play cricket because of him. Because if you go back to all the cricketers, each and every one of them have been inspired by somebody else ahead of them,
Yeah. Well, so many stories. Omar Zai, one of them, perhaps a huge challenge for Omar Zai as well to bowl against a lineup that has a lot of superstars. Kohli is back. Rohit Sharma playing his 150th T20 game as well. So he was really cross with Shubman the other night, expressed himself. The anger was very much there for all of us to see. But then post-game, he said it's all right. It calmed down. And you can expect Rohit Sharma to press that reset button and come out and bat with complete freedom as he often does.
Moral of the story? Never run your captain out.
In fact, if there's anyone who would have told, the selectors saying that, don't drop him because everyone will blame him.
Yeah. Yeah, no. I'm just kidding here, because obviously we said in the last, if Yashasvi is fit, he comes in. But look, with the amount of experience that Rohit has, not just in T20 cricket, just playing cricket, over the last 10, 15 years, all formats, he would have, as soon as he got back to the dressing room, within 10 minutes, he would have been calm, he would have been hoping that Shubman goes on to get a big one.
Yeah.
You know? Because sometimes, as a captain, you'd feel, I hope I haven't, put too much pressure on that young kid there by just, give him a bollocking right there and there.
Yeah.
I hope now that, there's a little pressure on you, hoping that he goes on to get runs, but you don't want to feel that guilt.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't want to feel like, I should have
Have you ever done that?
Given a bollocking? No, I have given plenty of bollockings.
That I know.
No, but I'm trying to think when I was run out. No, I remember though, I'll tell you a story. I remember this one Bengal player had come in and made his debut against Tripura. So one of the few times, and he was 28, 29, late debutant, late debutant, having done his, hard yards in club cricket, got an opportunity against Tripura, went out to bat, was batting on 20, 25 or something like that. I can't remember exactly how much. And then he sacrificed his wicket for Lakshminarayan Shukla because he was trying to get big runs, quick runs. And obviously, Lucky being a more powerful hitter, big hitter. So he sacrificed his wicket, got run out, came back in. And I was like, well done. What I do remember is in the next team meeting, selection meeting, the selectors wanted to drop him. And I said, look, honestly, over my dead body, because what kind of message are we sending to the team that if you sacrifice your wicket for the greater good, you're going to get dropped? And I had to really sort of this thing. But he didn't find a place in the next game 11 because I think Devang Gandhi came back from injury or something like that. So he didn't find a place in 11. So that was it. The following game, I had to go somewhere for an India A tour or something, and he was dropped.
There's so many such stories. There's one man that's being talked about on Twitter, and we've got a question which I suppose is rather harsh. We'll take a look at it. It's come to us from Harsh Jain with hashtag #AskCricbuzz Gentlemen, brace yourselves. First, opts out of the South Africa series citing mental health break and now hasn't been included for the test series against England. Has Ishan Kishan jeopardized, that's a big word, has Ishan Kishan jeopardized his India chances? I'll go to Rohan Gavaskar first.
His India chances in test cricket or his India chances overall? Because he's not in the test squad.
Yep.
So, look, I don't think that it's such a big surprise that he's not in the test squad. But I think in the current scenario, in the current, with the team management, the selectors, I don't think they're the kind of selectors and team management where you think, okay, listen, you've taken a break, we're going to hold that against you. What I will say though is that he faces a lot of competition because we spoke about this before the last match. There are at least five wicketkeeper batters that are out there.
Yep.
So look, and with now Dhruv Jurel, if you add him to the mix, make that 6.
Yep.
So that's a lot of competition that he faces. So he'll have to. Rahul Dravid said he's got to go back and play domestic cricket.
Yep.
So I don't think he's jeopardized his chances. I just think it's become a little tougher because of the competition he faces. And once you're in there, you don't want to go out and give someone else that opportunity.
Yeah, Dravid's also said there is no disciplinary issue. So if the coach has clarified, we should sort of let it be. Is it also, Joyce, is it unfair to criticize Ishan Kishan for going wherever he has to? I mean, if you're on a break, you're on a break. You do what you want to, right?
No, I totally... See, once you have informed the team that you're unavailable, then you've done your job. So it's not unfair. There are two parts to this. I want to answer in two parts. One is the optics of it. Okay, the optics of it is how is it perceived by the world. Okay, and optics play a huge part in cricket. There's this great story that Mayank Agarwal told me. That Mayank Agarwal was you've seen him now, really thin. Okay, he said when he was stockier and thicker, he could hit the ball much harder. Okay, he was really fit, but because he looked stocky, people thought he was lazy and didn't work on his fitness. And he said, now I'm super fit, but I don't hit the ball as hard as I used to.
Yeah.
But the truth is, it's all perception. So optics is also one big part. So by going out there and being seen in Dubai, he has hurt his optics. I don't think the selectors that you have in the Indian team now look at it that way.
Or the team management.
But what will happen is he's going to get a lot of social media pressure for it. Secondly, you are sitting in a hot spot. Literally, there's so many keeper batsmen in India. Allowing others the opportunity, a sniff at the door. And Rohan's dad would have told you that you don't give other people a sniff. Once you're in there, you lock your place and you put it there. So that's the only thing I'd say. That if you had to look at it tactically, saying perhaps given the number of keepers we have in our system, this may not have been the best time to take a break.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it. But I don't think the selectors will hold that against him. But remember one thing, the selectors are doing one thing, and I believe this is BCCI policy. Selectors are firmly but gently pushing these players to go and play first-class cricket. All of them. Across the board, they're saying, you're not sitting at home.
Yeah.
You're not playing an outside league. In any case, we don't love you.
Yeah.
You're not going to sit at home. Go and play first-class cricket. And that is a message that's coming across really strongly across the board. Really senior people are also being asked to go and play first-class cricket.
You spoke about optics. I'll tell you another optics story. In 2003, Inzamam Haq lost a lot of weight for that World Cup.
Yeah.
I think that was his poorest World Cup ever.
World Cup, yeah, exactly.
And after that, he said, I'm never going to lose weight again. It's taken away all my timing and all my runs. So that was one time he lost a lot of weight. I said, never again.
Right. Well, if he has to go and play domestic cricket, it will really help him in the long run. Ishan Kishan, we wish him well. There's another keeper batter to talk about, Rahmanullah Gurbaz. Now, he hit 100, I believe, against UAE in Afghanistan's previous series. But his numbers against top teams are pale in comparison. What explains that? Is it skill? Is it temperament? How do you look at it, Joy?
The way I look at it is that against the top teams, if you're going to get the number of wicket-taking deliveries you're going to get are more. The odds are that you're going to do it. He capitalizes again, slightly unfair comparison, but he's ruthless against slightly, second-class bowling, not the best.
Murderer of
mediocre bowling. But moment it's slightly better bowling, then he takes more chances.
Yep.
And you take the number of chances that he does, you're going to give your wicket away. So that's what happens. When he gets off, but he doesn't do often.
I think if you look at his numbers, if you have a look at those numbers again, if his average is 17, but his strike rate is about 150, 160, you still think, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
You're getting off to a good start, and you may not score too many runs. His strike rate is 115. Now, average of 17, strike rate of 115, that combination is a little
Could it be about overcooking it in the head? Saying I've got to be around long enough?
No,
is that...
That strike rate, and that tells you the message that Rohan's trying to tell you is that I'm getting out desperate.
Yeah.
I can't hit the ball. I'm trying too hard. I'm sort of hitting it to a fielder, doing something because I can't get the run, so I'm trying to do something different and getting out. That's what that strike rate and that average indicates.
And because in that last game, they were going at under 6 and over, I think, in the power play. So that really caused them a lot of trouble. They couldn't score as much as they should have. Sorry, go on, Joy.
No, absolutely. All these players, and Rohan will tell you a lot more about it, they have their get out of jail shots. Yeah. Specific shots that they know that they'll go for. 9 out of 10 times they'll get it right. And if you deny them that, and nowadays this analysis is so much, then they get stuck.
Yeah.
And they can't rotate the strike very well. And Gurbaz is not the greatest rotator. Anyway, in the first 6 overs in T20 cricket, it's not about rotation, it's about boundaries.
I completely agree. You have these get out of jail shots where in first class cricket it would be to get a single and go to the non-strikers end. Maybe it could be a sweep shot to a spinner, go to this thing, or just a flick, step out and drive, whatever. I think with Gurbaz, where he's concerned, we obviously know he's a talented player. He needs one massive innings, which sort of changes his mindset against the big team and gets the monkey off his back. Yeah. Once you've done that, then everything else sort of falls into place for players of his ability.
Yep. Well, no get out of jail options for you if you're going to try and crack tonight's Joy Factor question. Joy, what do you have for us tonight?
This question comes all the way from Himachal Pradesh. In 1999, which international record was eclipsed after over 40 years in the Chamba cricket ground in Himachal Pradesh?
You're asking me?
No idea.
I've got a fair idea because it
Played around your time.
played around my time. Diminutive batter.
Oh, okay. Say no more.
Okay, that's
No,
it.
I'll give you a superstition that he had.
What?
After every ball that he played, he'd take a circle of go right behind the keeper stumps and go back. So a lot of teams realized that and they'd stand, making sure he didn't go, it wasn't able to complete
I hope
that
you're
circle.
talking about the same player, but it's an interesting one.
We will take a circle and come back right here in this studio at the halfway mark. But before that, we'll see you on Cricbuzz Combox. Before we say bye, we've got to do what we do usually. Have you still retired from...
after 158.
Wow. 1-0.
158.
Exact.
Sir, new day, new predictions, sir.
See, that, do you follow darts?
No, I don't.
That was like a 9 darter.
Kar do,
If
sir.
you follow darts.
Kar do, sir.
Kar de?
Tradition.
ठीक है, tradition.
Convention.
Tradition.
Ah.
Parampara.
Pratishtha or Anushasana.
I'm going to go with 174.
161.
First ball wide. With that added information, I'm going to go with 151. Shagun ka 151.
He's always.
Always low balls us.
151. Afghanistan batting first. You can share your predictions as well. And at the 10 over mark, we'll see you on Cricbuzz Combox. Enjoy the game.